me?
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Welcome, everybody. We're Becca, Cal, 100 Ravens. So nice to see you all. We're so thrilled to be here at Virtu-Wool this weekend. How fun is this? Next best thing to a actual being in there in person and grabbing all the yarn and smooshing it in our faces.
It still means that we get to communicate with you guys kind of almost one-on-one.
Ish.
It's the best part about being in the booth is actually getting to talk to people about your projects and what you're doing and what matters to you. And
yeah. And seeing all this stuff, like people come and they bring their projects and we're like, whoa, look at what you did. So good, so good. But we really miss you all, but we're glad you're here today, virtually hanging out with us. We're going to have so much fun. We also want to give a hello to Jess, who's our MC.
Hi, Jess.
Hi, Jess.
Hi.
In the control booth over there. So she'll be helping us show off our stuff. We've got so much.
Is it just me, or does Jess look like she's in the clouds of yarn? Like,
she does. Actually, it's like heaven. Oh, Jess and heaven with yarn. I mean, that's heaven.
So, should we just jump in?
Let's jump in.
All right,
let's do this.
We were trying to think about things that we could talk about with you guys. We'll show you lots of yarn throughout it, but we wanted to sort of have a script of sorts, a way of kind of
a script.
A story to tell.
I didn't learn my lines.
Yeah, exactly. So we do dyeing in a lot of different ways.
Sorry.
I'm going to be hitting them a lot in this. We do semi-solids, and we do a lot of dip dyeing in very unique and different ways. So
this is dip dye.
That's dip dye. That's in fact what I'm about to talk about. That's a 3-way colorway. So yes, thank you, Vanna.
I was going to make a 3-way comment anyway.
No.
Sorry.
Not sorry. So this is the way this is dyed, of course, is dipped on either end so that you end up with a short color change in the middle. So 2 of those and 2 longer color changes on either end.
You can see the length of the run of those colors.
Yeah. And so people often ask, so how does that knit up? So my first example, this is a Miss Winkle, and it was done in this yarn. But you can see in just garter stitch, it just stripes a little bit, pulls a little bit, just makes a kind of a lovely mishmash of colors.
That's what the skein looks like. So beautiful. The colorway, this is one of my favorite colorways. It's called Pixie Surfer Madness. And see, this is the cool stuff. Now that we're doing this, I can tell you a little bit about some of these names, or we can tell you. So Pixie Surfer Madness comes from the film, for those of you who are part of the surf culture. Both Becca and I are from Santa Cruz originally, and it's named after Reefer Madness. I just imagined all these pixies kind of having a big party and having a good time. So hence Pixie Surfer Madness. That's how this colorway came to be. The film, for those of you who are part of the surf culture. The colorway came to be by Santa Cruz originally, and it's named after Reefer Madness.
So that's just
I just imagined.
Somebody, oops, pardon me.
Oh, goodbye.
And I don't remember, I should have looked this up. I don't remember the designer's name, but they came up with this amazing, put that down. I don't love you anymore.
Livestream, where Becca, after 20 some odd years with Kel, finally divorced them. You saw it here, folks. We finally found a way to end the marriage.
I cannot see comments on this video. What the fuck, Facebook?
So this is called the Strand Wanderer. It's German for beach walker. So strand being the word for beach and wanderer, walker.
It's so cool.
It's just the coolest thing. And it's done by knitting along there and then picking up and knitting this way. And then when you get to the end and knit a few long rows again and then back this way. But it was designed not in our yarn, but it just so happens one of our lovely customers found out that our three-way colorways, shush with the three-way. Our three-way colorways do it perfectly. And really, it's the dye job that does all the work. You're just doing that one garter up and garter in short strips and picking up.
Screen over here. Let's see it. See if it's working. Jess, how's that look?
You need to. It's just on the white. You need to turn it some way. No, rotate. There you go. Yeah.
How's that look? Good. Can y'all see it?
There we go.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And
Jess, give us a thumbs up so we know it's working. Excellent.
I can see it.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's not great on the focus, but
it's you know a thing. Oh, good. Okay, now she's got it. Here we go. Hello, so beautiful.
So that's one example of how that colorway can be used to do a planned pooling and make something really graphic and outstanding. One of our house designer, one of our dear friends, Rachel Henry.
Molinar.
Oh, you're right.
Rachel Molinar.
Rachel Molinar. I need to work on that. That's she did this amazing cowl. Take that off your new. This is the Hornberg cowl, and it is neither knitted in the round nor seamed. It's this very unique construction that Rachel did it, and you're upside down, but that's okay. No, it's good. It's good. Anyway, but show it off because I want to show the color.
Okay.
So this does not do as planned a pooling, but it uses those color changes and these drops, not drop stitches. What are those?
Those are slip stitch.
Slip stitch. Thank you. I couldn't remember. I do that all the time. To create this really lovely pattern. And this is the previous one was in Iacos, which is our one of our many fingering weights, but kind of our first base that we carried. So the old guard fingering weight. And this one is done in Acer, which is a sport weight 8-ply. So it's a cable plied yarn, which is incredibly strong, and because it has such a tight twist, such a tight ply, it has amazing stitch definition.
Yeah, it's really great. We call Acer kind of the steel of yarn because it's just really rugged. Remember that both Iacos, in fact, most of our yarns that are merino are superwash. So these are all washable. And you know, just quick thing. Some of you already know this, but in terms of superwash wool and washable wool, there's a couple of different ways to do the superwash process. And if you don't know this, maybe it's interesting to know. One of the ways that you can do it is to chemically strip the barbs off the yarn. And what that process does is that the barbs come off, and then when the barbs hello, nice to see you. Oh, see, now we're friends again. When the barbs come off, then the yarn doesn't felt, and that's why it's washable. Then we put it in the washing machine, it doesn't felt together. The other way to do superwash is to coat the yarn. And there's pros and cons to both methods. Some people say that the coated kind, so basically what the coating does is it covers the barbs and has the same effect. It keeps the yarn from felting. It tends to be the case that in either case, there's still some lanolin. Some people who are really, really allergic still can't use superwash. But some people who are only mildly allergic find that a superwash wool, is fine for them. So it just depends. Our wool is the coated variety, and I will fix that in just a minute. Yeah, we saw that, Jess. We'll fix it. No. Wait. Oh, something else. Jess, talk. What's up? We have questions?
Yes, we have a question. Somebody wanted to know what the first shawl Becca held up was.
That was the Miss Winkle.
Miss Winkle. Okay.
By Martina Bem.
By Martina Bem. Thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
no problem. No problem. Anyway, yeah, so our superwash wool is fantastic. And you know, sometimes the earlier superwashes felt a little plasticky. Some people have said they felt kind of squeaky. That is not the case with ours at all. It is beautifully soft. And those of you who've used it before know how soft it is. It's got a gorgeous hand, so totally recommend. And Acer is just the kind of yarn that you can just do anything to, and it's rugged and will stand up to it. It's great for kid clothes, meat clothes. Yeah, and of course it just I mean, it works up so beautifully. So yeah, that's just my little
There you go.
thing. All right, I'm gonna fix this thing while you talk.
Camera. So so the next one is another Rachel Molinar. And this one I just wanted to show you a little bit. This is another 3-way colorway, but it's a little more tonal. There's no white in it. But you can see how it creates you get the little sets of color in these circles. But and mostly this was just to say that not all of our 3-way colorways are 2 colors and a white. A lot of them are 3 different actual colors. All right.
Hey,
that was it.
Jess, can you give us a thumbs up on that camera? Is it working now? Good. All right.
Thumbs up. All right.
Thank you.
Oh, and I'm sorry. And the color in this shawl, I'm not good at holding the shawl. You have to do that.
Did you say the pattern?
That is Mainspring by Rachel Molinar.
And it's from a cyberpunk collection. I mean, cyberpunk steampunk collection that she did.
Yeah.
And it's cute as anything. Look at this little. I love this wing shape.
I do too.
It's so good. And then these little circles show off. It looks like stained glass. It shows off the yarn so beautifully. Anyway, you were saying.
This was,
I'm muted, by the way.
I was just going to say the colorway that's the 3-way colorway that's in there is Maelstrom.
Yep.
So you know.
Yep. And I will put that up where you can see it here. Here we go. And maybe a tiny bit of the shawl. Ish.
So Kel had a fun idea to tell. One of the questions we get in the booth all the time, so it wouldn't be a show if we didn't have to answer this question, is where does the name 100 Ravens come from?
Oh yes.
You want to tell the story?
You want to tell the story?
You can tell
I'll tell the story. So we used to
I'm
live.
going to correct you throughout.
That's a given. That's a given. We used to live in Maryland, and we had a house kind of out in the farms in Reisterstown. And of course, Maryland is home to many, many, many ravens, hence the Baltimore Ravens. And they're huge, right? I mean, like really unexpectedly big. They're like
gigantic.
Like not a raven you would want to meet in a dark alley. Right?
Our house backed up on cornfields, so we saw crows and ravens all the time.
Tons. So when our daughter Lily was quite small, I think she was like 4 or 5.
She's 4.
4. One day it was raining, and so we were home and we were making stitch markers. This was like a little, mom and kid thing to do together and make some stitch markers. So we made stitch markers. And of course, Lily, being entrepreneurial as we are, was like, well, I'm going to sell my stitch markers. I'm like, cool, that's great. And she was like going to go down to the bottom of the driveway and like do like a lemonade stand, only stitch markers, right?
And we're in rural.
like maybe 1 car every hour and a half, you know? like, and then
and we just saw this ending in tears.
Yeah.
Right. So
I said, even then we were thinking virtually. I said, why don't you make yourself a little Etsy shop? And remember, this is long before we had a yarn business. There was no yarn business.
Oh, no.
There was nothing. I was like, why don't you make an Etsy shop? She's like, yay. So I showed her the Etsy shop, and she made herself a little header. And I said, what are you going to call your business? And she said, everyone likes ravens, and like the Baltimore Ravens. And I said, that's true. And then she goes, and you like ravens? And that's true, because I have a raven tattoo here. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, so we're going to call it something with ravens. She goes, and then she gets really serious. She goes, but we're going to need a lot of them, like 100 ravens. And so that became the name of,
And then we go to put it in, and being grown-ups, we write 100 ravens.
Right.
And Lily, being 4 and as didactic as any 4-year-old ever was,
I don't know where she gets that.
says, that's not how you say it. And we're like, what do you mean? She says, it's 100 ravens. And you can't argue with her because that's how we all say it.
Also, you don't argue with a 4-year-old,
Well,
as you who have 4-year-olds who have had them know perfectly well. There's no arguing.
So that's how we got our name. At the time, it was Lily's little Etsy shop.
Yep.
That was never going to go anywhere or do anything.
Yep. And then I
Fast
started
forward of 6 months, maybe. Kel's dying for fun.
Just for fun.
Kel comes home and says, "I need a new hobby. I'm going to start dyeing."
As I do, right? I need a new hobby.
And as happens with Kel quite often, they were incredibly good at it, and people wanted to buy the yarn. And we're like, no, have the yarn. And they're like, no, we want to buy it from you. And so in order to do that, we needed a place for them to give payment. And we thought, oh, Lily has this Etsy shop. Let's just throw it up there.
I got some extra yarn. I put that on there too. And then, yeah, the rest is history.
Yeah.
Here we are. But how many years later? 10 years later?
10 years later.
10 years later, we've been around. That's crazy, you know? Yeah. So
we did it as just a hobby business for about 5 years, and then took it more seriously.
Yep.
About 5 years ago.
Yep. So. And you know what? It's all thanks to all of you and your patronage and your interest and your love right from the beginning when we were tiny. Some of you met us when we were first. Actually, our very first booth was in the Wayland flea market, not flea market, farmers market on Sundays. And we had a little what are those called? The pop-up easy ups. We had an easy up at the farmers market. And we'd sell like maybe 3 or 4 skeins of yarn. And
we thought we were big time.
Yeah. Woo! We made $100. We made the booth fee. Yes. And you know, we'd eat some bread from the farmers market.
Yeah, I don't think that was we were making money on that.
Yeah, we were making bread.
We probably put out a little bit more than we took in just shopping the farmers market, but it was a great time.
It was. Yeah. It was. Yeah. Well, awesome.
Okay.
You got some more yarn to show us. Like, do we have any questions?
Any questions?
Anything people want to know? Anything going on? Nice. Not so far. Okay, cool. All
right.
And if anybody wants to see some yarn in particular, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
This is our booth. We're your hosts in the booth. So let us know. What do you want to look at? Like what new stuff would you like to see? Ask us for anything.
I am going to dump your water. If it stays there, I'm so sorry.
That's right. I'll find another spot for it. I put my water with your stuff. I'm not gonna reach. I'll put it over here.
Okay.
Tell me if you want.
Sorry, everyone. Okay, so the other question that I get in the booth all the time, because we are mini fanatics. We love making minis, and we make them in multiple different bases. We love what you can do with them, but and we get it a little less now than we used to. People are starting to be a little more familiar with them, but I still get it a couple of times, a lot more than that, at every show. So what do you do with these? And so I thought I'd show you guys some samples of what we've done with minis. So,
or what other people have done with our.
What's that? That is smoke.
Yep. Isn't it beautiful? Yeah, it's so gorgeous. I think you could also do it in Myth Lawn.
You could do it in
Myth Lawn. And it would be beautiful. It'd just be a little bit more contrast.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted something that was a little more. We actually almost went with something darker because I wanted it. We were looking for a stained glass look, so I was trying to do the leading in stained glass. But the maelstrom was so dark that it would have lost something if we'd done it with our darker gray.
Yeah.
A couple of other questions, if you don't mind.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh,
we
please.
have from Allison. She says, "I was born in October. What have you got for me?"
Born in October. Let's see. What I was going to say what zoological sign is that? Porcupine. Wait, what?
Sure,
Allison, you're from forever now.
And Regina asks, how do y'all decide on mini color combinations? I love the gradual blends and the contrasts.
Nice.
Thank you. A lot of that is just playing around in the studio, and that actually is a great way to introduce. This is our colorway for this show. We decided to go with a mini set.
You have to show them here.
You show. Well,
this is it. What?
Go ahead. You're good. Hippocampy. And
Allison, we haven't forgotten you. We're going to come back to that.
We'll come back to that. But it was this is the darkest blue in that is a solid that we do called Sassenach. And
Sassenach.
Whatever.
Who taught you to speak Gaelic?
Nobody. And I had just actually put together this shawl up here, or the colorways for the shawl up there. I don't know if you can see it in the camera.
I think they get a little bit of it.
It's the plaid is the new fad, and we went with some really bold colors. And in that one, I used our navy, which is Mockingjay, with annotated, which is that bright green. And I really loved that combination. But Mockingjay does not fade very well. This is one of the things I know just from working in the studio a lot. So I went with the Sassenach and faded it into the annotated. And basically we do it, we make 7 minis out of each skein. Usually we dye 2 skeins of each color and make 14 sets at a time. So 14 sets in a dye lot. And these are not, I always get, so what is, give it back. I always get people asking me, what's this color? And it's like, that is not a color.
That is a color between this color and this color.
Because I dye through the blues through a pot from 1 skein down to wherever I'm going. Usually it's across 5 skeins. And then I start in the pot for the other color, and I dye all the way across those to make the gradient. And it's very much the same way that you would do it if you were doing a gradient cake. It's not how everyone does their minis, but that's how we do them. But it does mean that we don't have a name for every color.
Yeah. Color number 4.
Yeah, it's the lightest blue in the X mini set.
Right. And when Becca says it doesn't fade, she doesn't mean like in sunlight or with washing.
No.
She means it doesn't work as well when we're trying to blend it into a gradient.
What I mean is that the dyes that we put into the recipe that makes that colorway are such that when you dye them, they don't keep throughout. So some of those dyes hit first, and so the first skein will pick up all of the, blue or the black or the whatever that's in that recipe, and the ones after it will not look like they match with that color, because all of that part of the recipe is gone. And so what you get on those successive skeins,
it's like the first skein ate all the cookies and there's no cookies left for the other skeins.
Every other
we call it in dyer's terminology, we call it a fast strike or a quick strike. So the yarn strikes the yarn, the dye strikes the yarn and hits really quickly, faster than we can distribute it evenly to the rest of the skeins. Yeah. And sometimes a fast strike is really desirable, but sometimes you kind of want to eke it out a little bit.
Well, and that's what, when people think, what do dyers really do? I mean, we
swear a lot.
We swear a lot. We do.
I know. I love Becca's like, oh, we're in the studio, and then I fade it down in the skeins, and then I come back. I'm like, that's not what you do. You fade it down. You go, oh shit, that looks terrible, and then you have to do some more in the middle, and then you take one and you throw it out, and you put another one in. What one does. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I think sometimes it's a really like easy process, and you just do it and it's beautiful and everything works out. But a lot of the time, I mean,
there's a lot of science. There
is a lot of science to it, and knowing what each individual dye is going to do is part of that. Part of it is just having like a good hand, or being able to see like as it's happening in the pot, like, okay, that's about right. But at the same time, you're trying to get like, we 100 Ravens, part of the reason that we do mini skein sets is so that we can get a really good quality of dye on every skein of yarn. While not charging you $1 bazillion for each mini set. And so some of these are very gradual gradient fades. Some of them, like this one, are less of a gradient. They go from like one really strong different color to another strong different color. So you're getting less of
I have all that.
Oh.
No, it's good. Go ahead. Oh,
but we like hearing the questions.
Yeah,
we like. That was a question. Yeah. Wait, but we have to get back to Allison's question. So Allison was born in October, and she said, what have you got for us? And I bet because she's born in October, everyone's going to be like, oh, you need like Halloween or fall colors. So I'm just going to go like off the rails completely and say no, that October is the time of year when Persephone is readying herself to go back into the underworld. So I think that she's buying her fanciest clothes to go back to see her consort Hades in the underworld. And so I think she's wearing some really beautiful, rich tones. Like I think that something like I don't know. I'm thinking like this skein. I'll put it up in here. This is a Yaksha skein, and it's called Full Wolf Moon. This is something that I think that Persephone would be wearing in the underworld. Does that look anything other than, I don't know if you can tell the colors there. It's really beautiful. There's some like deep dark purples and teals and a little bit of dark gray in there. I think something like that would be her color. But I would say those kinds of colors, right?
Yeah.
You know, things that Hades would enjoy. You know, this wouldn't be her spring stuff for coming up to the I'm done. Allison.
All right, more questions.
Yes, more.
Oh, well.
Oh boy, we have answers for you.
So this is a shawl that was done in the Nephilim mini sets, and it was paired with, I have it here too.
What is the name?
Oh, that is the Nile necklace. It was done by the House of Shaheen, also known as 10 Hours or Less, although after a few of us have said, no, you can't do that in 10 hours. He started putting on his patterns, cannot be done in 10 hours.
maybe he can do them. And I don't know, like, is it just me, or does like House of Shaheen totally sound like a drag house? Doesn't that sound like the name of a drag family? I'm like, I want to be in the House of Shaheen. Exactly. Hopefully George won't mind me seeing that. Anyway, I think he's family. I think it's okay. This is an amazing piece, you all. Can you see it? This is incredible. It's a beautiful pattern.
It is not actually mosaic knit. A lot of people think it's mosaic. It is not. It is a pretty straight knit.
Straight as we ever get around here.
Yeah. But it was done in the Nephilim with a Mythlond, actually 2 skeins of Mythlond. And it is the scrummiest, scrunchiest, like, oh my gosh. I don't know what it is about this shawl. There's something about how thickly it's knit that I just want to curl. I want a whole blanket that is like this.
Yeah, I mean, you should feel it. This is the only problem with virtual. You just have to take my groans as like, this is like this is like 3 ground knitting job here. Oh, here we go. Yeah, we'll show you these colors. We'll say goodbye to Persephone and show you the colors that was made
anyway. So if you're looking for something that'll really make the Nephilim pop, I would go with something lighter like the Mythlond, which is a coolish neutral, or with Biscuit, which is got some brown tones in the gray and is a much warmer, because Nephilim really spans both. It's a very
that is not very good. I don't know what to tell you folks. It's like this yarn is too big for my camera. It's like, it's so juicy. It's just too much.
But that's my answer for that. What's the next question? Oh, I have that question before.
What a great question. Good question.
I'll tell you what, we've been doing these flash sales where we've been making some random mini sets just to keep ourselves occupied and have some fun. And
because y'all keep buying them.
Yeah. And to offer something that, that we can do at a discount. And one of the thoughts I had, we just did yesterday. Oh my gosh, just yesterday. We did Patos minis, which we had never done before. That's our sock yarn. So I was looking around the studio and I was thinking, people have been asking for layer minis, and maybe we should do some layer mini sets. It is tough to keep minis in stock for that many different bases. So we used to do them in Taiki, which is our fingering single ply, and we don't do those anymore. We just sort of moved on from those and started doing the Yaksha.
Yeah, because Yaksha's the bomb.
Yes, Yaksha's the bomb, and those minis are gorgeous. but you know, we could retire something else for a while and bring in some.
Or we could just make you all some special stuff. Listen, some special stuff has been coming up in these flash sales, and we've got, you know, there's every possibility that if you keep an eye on our Facebook page, just one day some Lear mini skeins will show up. So so it could happen. It could happen. Yeah. But you know, and listen, and if you all want them, you know, we're going to a show and you're like, bring us the Lear mini skeins. Maybe we'll do like a show special.
Yeah.
You know, if we know we have some
I'm always happy to do show specials
because why not?
Because why not? It's fun.
And listen, you know what? We like to do different stuff too. That's part of what makes it fun for us, is to change things up and do different colorways. I mean, you can't do this for 10 years without, you know, making changes and trying out new things, or you just would lose your mind and never do it again.
Yeah. I was telling someone who wanted a custom, they wanted a mini set that we do, but they wanted one color different. And I'm like, do you really want it to be that solid a change to go from this one mini to all this gradient? And I said, if you do, great, that's cool. It'll be really cool. But I could take that mini set into the dye studio with me and make that gradation a little more gentle, you know. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, because I dye the same things day in and day out, and doing something different is so much more fun.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, I have to tell you all what's happening. Can I tell about Pang Bang?
No.
Damn it. But
nope.
But
I love you.
Okay, translation. I love you means simmer down.
No, well, you can tell what I did. It's
with
go ahead.
With the
dog.
Okay. This is the cutest, y'all. So I'm totally not from the South. I say that, and it's like I say y'all, and I'm like, oh, this is pretentious, and like it's weirdly like appropriative. It's like of the South. I'm like, I'm not from that origin. But anyway, I say it anyway because I'm better than saying guys. But anyway, so some friends of ours with a lovely shop have asked for some yarn that is in the colorways of their dogs, and they are the cutest dogs. And I can't tell what the best part of it is watching Becca come up with these fantastic doggo colorways, or just the constant stream of research, i.e. dog pictures that have shown up in the house. It's like every 5 minutes, oh, look at Charlie. Oh, look at Jack. Look at whatever the hell is
Otis.
What?
Otis.
Yes. Oh my God. We've done some in the past. I did a charity skein for SPCA, I think. Yeah, that I did a couple of charity skeins in dog and cat colors. Yeah. And you know, we don't want to do too many of them because, like, you know, I mean, you know, we like to use actual colors, but
well, brown's still
brown's still a color. But anyway.
But it's been fun, and yeah. So.
Yeah, and once those are up with the shop in question, we'll not that I've spoiled it or anything, but we'll link you all too, so you can go and buy them at their shop. So yeah, fun stuff.
Okay, more questions.
One is, what's a solid you would pair with Cleopatra? They're trying to avoid brown. And the other one is, do you dye with natural dyes?
I can field that question while Becca looks for something to pair with Cleopatra. So an interesting thing about natural dyes. So when we say natural dyes that work with wool, because what we're primarily talking about is wool and animal fibers, silk, etc. There's a lot of natural dyes that bond okay with wool, but virtually none of them are wash fast and color fast. So when we sort of scientifically developed developed fibercraft and dyeing over time, we moved to these chemicals to make stronger bonds and more longer lasting colors and more vibrant colors. Like that was the whole point, right? More color for longer. And natural dyes don't do that for the most part. They also don't render the kinds of colors that we do. There are a lot of folks out there who are dyeing some beautiful stuff with natural dyes, but our yarns are pretty much wash fast and light fast, as much as any fiber can be. Another note about natural dyes that's kind of interesting is that, you know, like we think of like natural having to do with organic and good for the environment and good for people, but that's actually not the case with natural dyes. Some natural dyes do not require a mordant, but most of them do. And the mordants that are used in the natural dyeing process are actually pretty toxic. Alum, a bunch of other stuff. I can't think right off the top of my head. I usually have them at hand. And then the extraction process, which I actually tried for a while because I was really interested in it, primarily involves ammonia, which I don't tolerate well. That's why I stopped using it. But natural dyeing does not very often yield a non-toxic process. Sometimes, but most of the time not, especially if you're going for light fast or color fast. So we didn't go that way because our dyes, even though they're chemical dyes, are non-toxic.
They're food safe.
They're food safe. It's not like you want to eat them, but they're non-toxic. We can put them down the drain and into our septic, and it won't hurt anything. And the process for making those dyes is also not that hard on the environment either. And the only reason that they have an MSDS sheet at all, a material safety data sheet, which would be if there's something about them were harmful, the only reason they have one is because they come in powder form, and like flour or any other powder, they can be dangerous to your lungs if inhaled. But you know, we're all wearing masks now anyway. And we use really safe practices when we use the powders. So that's kind of the long and short answer on that. And we think people who use natural dyes are great, but we made the choice not to because we're passing off huge cost savings. We have very vibrant dyes and everything is very color fast. We're basically enjoying the fruits of centuries of developments in dye science.
Better living through chemistry.
Better living through chemistry, yeah. But that's come through, you know, years and years and years of people doing this since the beginning of civilization. So we're enjoying the benefits of all their work and research and stuff. So that's why on that. Indeed.
Was that both questions?
No, the other question was what to pair with Cleopatra.
Oh, yay. Okay, I was thinking about that. So
I thought you were going to show them something.
It's in the other room.
I'll go get it.
Okay, it's on the table in the
I'll get it. Pardon me just a moment. I will go and fetch the yarn.
So Cleopatra is a coral.
Wait, what am I getting?
The mini set Cleopatra.
Oh.
You'll see it in a second, but it's coral to a teal, but the teal has a bit of yellow in it. It tends towards that. So it's a warmer teal. And if I wasn't, you know, I'm not even sure that I would I might pair a dark brown with it, but I'm not sure that I would go with a brown necessarily. I think that it would show best against a black, as bright colors generally do. But do I have I think I'm gonna have to, excuse me, everyone. But I might go with something in a dark teal family. So Oceanus in our colorways would be one of my choices. Or if you really wanted to get wild, I would go with Apollo. And I was going to do this when Kel brought me the minis, but I don't know where they've gone. Okay, so that's my answer. I would go with Oceanus, Jet, or Apollo, depending on what the project was and how I wanted those minis to react. I do a whole talk at Stitches in their playground area on color theory and how to choose colors for your projects using the same methodology that we use as dyers to choose colors, so to choose the various colors that we mix together to make the colors that we get. So that's it.
So another quick question and a comment. The question is, what is the green shawl on the wall?
Green shawl. That one
on your right. Yep, that one.
That plaid is the new fad.
Plaid is the new fad. All right. And the other one is, when will they get to see the stack of pretty stuff on your lap, Becca?
I'm trying. Okay, so what do you do with minis? Look, I have replaced Kel with yarn. Oops. So what do you do with minis? So
I couldn't find it.
Don't worry about it. But you've been replaced. So, oh gosh, 2 years ago, 3 years ago,
I've been supplanted.
I just said that. Look, just get all that off. Very well done.
Thank you. Sorry, I couldn't find Cleopatra. She was in denial.
Yeah. Oh, geez, why?
I'm back.
Anyway, Carissa Browning made a shawl for us to go with our dragon color colorways. We do a color collection every year. We did a dragon color collection that year, and she did it in breathing fire and smoke, and called it Spitfire.
Mm-hmm.
We looked at it and realized that the little flame tongues also could look like peacock feathers. So we did it up for a sample in some peacocky colors, and jet on the other side. So that's what it looks like in two full skeins.
Isn't that beautiful? I'll put it in the close up thing too, so you can really take a look at it.
We got the idea to do it with minis on one side and smoke on the other side. And so this is the same shawl in minis.
Look at the gradient on this. Isn't this incredible? And I'll put this up so you can see a close up too. It's just amazing.
And these are those minis.
So cool.
So one of the answers is you can do we always say you can do anything you can do with a single skein of yarn. So that takes 2 skeins of yarn. So you can use 1 skein on one side and a mini set on the other side. And what you get out of that is something that is, I don't want to say elevated. It's got a little more wham. It's got a little more interest. It's the same pattern, but awesomer. But awesomer. So again, Rachel Molinar, she created this pattern before we actually knew her.
Yeah.
And
was there a time? Was there a time before us?
And it was a single skein shawl, and she suggested, hey, do that in minis. And at that time, we didn't have that many colorways, but we grabbed a good bright one that would show, and didn't realize
at all, right?
I didn't realize when we had it knit up that, of course, it was going to look like watermelons.
Right? We're like, it's tulip, and people are like, no, it's watermelon.
Tulip, but everyone calls it the watermelon shawl, and we love it. It was one of the samples that was stolen when the trailer was stolen, but we had it recreated exactly as it was because it was so iconic.
Hey, and while we're here, a shout out to everyone who knitted new samples for us.
Thank you
wow,
so
did you
much.
All save us. It was so incredible what people did. I can't make this work. It's beautiful. Look, see, beautiful. Okay. Yikes.
So minis come in a lot of different ways. We talked about a two-way colorway and how we dye that from one side across and back to the other side, and you get that nice gradient. It can be a little stripy. It's not like doing it in a single, like in a cake gradient. We do those too, and those are a lot smoother, but they're not perfect either, right? Anytime you're mixing colors, you never know what's going to happen.
We do know what's going to happen, actually. That's
but if the colors are more similar, like they are in Phoenix or in Boats for Women Everywhere.
Let me actually show you so you can see.
I'm trying.
You're fine.
The fade across those colors is a lot smoother because the colors are more similar.
And we really work in these. So our goal for these types of colorways is to really get you a high quality dye where there's very little sense of a stripe or a band when you shift from one color to the other. These should be, generally speaking, quite smooth. And we really pride ourselves on our ability to do those with our gradient minis, which is really different. And so what Becca's talking about, the difference would be something like Tulip, where we don't even really pretend it's a gradient. It's just, it is, but it isn't, because clearly you can see the bands. But it still has that kind of gradient effect of going darker to lighter. And then boom, all of a sudden you've got fabulous watermelon, which we completely love. So yeah.
We also do single color gradients.
This is beautiful. I'm going to put this one on the close up. It's really pretty.
With those, or even the Phoenix and the Boats for Women Everywhere, we always say lay them out in bright light, number them, because when you're in the middle of your project,
my God, you can't tell.
You think that you can tell the difference. You can't tell the difference.
You can't. And we have a hard time, like we'll be in the middle of like skeins or something like that, and skeins will get mixed up and we're like, no, which is it? You know, we have to take it outside in the sunlight and like, you know, have the kids with their good eyes look at it, you know.
And then we also make mini sets that aren't gradients because they aren't dyed in the same pot. Each skein is dyed individually. Here, you can do your thing again. Each skein is dyed individually. So these are
cool. So cute.
So those are definitely going to stripe. But you can do, again, this is a one skein project, and
dark prism is the colorway. This is Labyrinth, right?
This is Lace Labyrinth, again by House of Shaheen, also called 10 Hours or Less.
Not really 10 hours. Hashtag not really 10 hours.
He does gorgeous crochet stuff. I love his crochet stuff.
Fantastic crochet for all you crochet fans out there. Yeah. There's Dark Prism with its buddy, the original, the OG rainbow there. I don't know if you can see them both. I'm trying to get a picture of rainbow. Who knows?
I'm going to keep going. The other thing you can do with minis is striping.
Yay, stripes. We love stripes.
This is Rachel Molinar again, and can you tell she's just fabulous, and she's
fabulous.
Designed some amazing stuff for us.
Look at that chevron pattern on the edge there. Isn't that cool? It's so neat. I'll put it in the close-up too so you can really have a look at it. Hang on. I'm loving this close-up.
We're having so much fun. So you can use it for striping. And then because essentially what you've got when you've got a mini set is a long color change gradient, you can do things that were originally done with long color change balls or gradient cakes. For example, the papillon or butterfly shawl, which this one was done with 2 sets of minis and a full skein as the sort of outlining color.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
I mean, come on, this is beautiful, right? This is amazing. Incredible. Look at the tail on that. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting. Look at that. That's gorgeous. Gorgeous. I'm not usually a huge triangle, like all the time kind of person, but I love the shape on this.
Yeah. And it's just, and what you get with that, instead of working with one of the balls of long color change, is that you can you hold it up for me?
I can.
You get to plan where your color changes happen, because this was not, so the pattern's written for a 6 color and the outline color, so a 7 color version. We didn't use that. We used the plain version. It's a little smaller. It uses less yarn. And the only instruction I gave to the sample knitter was to just fill in one section at a time. And what she did was just changed colors in an order. So she had her minis in order, and she changed every time she came to the outline color, and then she would do the next one, and you get this gorgeous effect.
It's amazing.
Yeah, a lot of people have done it in different mini sets now. There was one that was posted on our Facebook page if you want to go and look for it, in Starry Night and Jet, and it is the most stunning thing.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's incredible. And if you go on Ravelry and look up this pattern in our yarn, you'll see some incredible finished objects of this pattern. Yeah. So nice. That's another thing with minis. I don't know if Becca mentioned this or not, but one of the cool things you can do with our minis is use the yarn lookup on Ravelry and take a look at just what people have done. Let's say if you have a Yakos mini set, even in a particular colorway, it's one that we do all the time. For example, the colorway that made up this shawl is Starry Night.
You got it.
Which is this mini set right here.
Yeah.
I will put that over here so you can take a look at it. Oh, I want to show you Papillon too, but this is Starry Night. It is cute as anything. Oh, you know what? It actually looks better if we put it that way, I think, except you can't see the whole mini set. I don't know what to do about that. All right. Anyway,
You're killing me.
I don't know.
You're
anyway,
just covered in your.
I'm just like, I'm in this big pile. I'm like, I'm in my happy place. I can live like 10 months of quarantine like this. I'm just like, all the yarn. Night. I'll see you when we can go outside.
Oh, no.
Anyway, I'm badly behaved, but
very,
what can I
I'm feeling
say?
very Punch and Judy here.
I know, right? Yeah, like Becca says, if we can get through today without Becca beating me to death with a skein of yarn, we're probably in good shape. Anyway, if you go on Ravelry and
Oh my.
what? We're
10
almost
minutes
done.
left. Yeah.
Whoa! Oh,
Good talk.
anyway, Ravelry. Go on Ravelry and look at mini skein and look up our mini skein sets, and then go and look at projects in that thing. You will see some fantastic things that people have done with the mini sets. And I really think that that's one of the best ways to figure out what to do with mini skein sets, is to see what other people have done. Ravelry is such a great resource for that. I'm always blown away by people's creativity and stuff.
Yeah.
What do we got? More questions?
Any more questions? Because we've only got 10 minutes.
No,
Yeah.
We haven't had,
All right.
had questions I can answer, like, what's this pattern? What's that pattern? I got that.
Oh yeah, I was hoping that Jess was maybe putting some links in there for the stuff that we were showing.
Or if not, we'll follow up with some links.
Absolutely. If you want to know what stuff is and we didn't do it.
Text, but I'll go back and add links after.
Fantastic.
Just to give one more shout out, we're doing a knit along right now in.
I'm doing it along.
Kel is our.
Me.
Kel is doing. So
I'm knitting.
So is Jess.
Just do.
Of this wonderful new wrap. It's called the Mormont wrap.
From Game of Thrones.
From Game of Thrones, which is near and dear to Kel's heart, for many reasons. But just
isn't this amazing?
As another thing that's been done.
Yes. So if you want to join the Mormont knit along, it is not too late, because listen, everybody, I have only knit so far. I have only knit one square. One. So you see this? I have done about 2 inches of this, and this part right here, and like this square. So 100% guaranteed that you can catch up to me. I think Jess is probably like here by now, but in terms of a knit along, it's going to be a nice slow one. So if you would like to jump on, we would love to have more people knitting along. And I am about to post the greatest video ever once Becca makes me cut 10 minutes out of it, because apparently I talk too much. What? Anyway, what?
I'm only this far along.
Oh, there you
go.
Oh,
wait, let's see. Oh, beautiful. See? I told you. Yeah, me, one square. So just jump in. 5 minutes and you'll be caught up to me and past me. It'll be fine. And we would love to have more people knitting with us and hanging out. And I'm actually going to have some time to knit, because it's summertime. I'm almost done grading. I'm a professor, for those of you who don't know. So yeah, I'll actually have time to work on this beautiful thing. And my colorway that I'm using is the best, by the way.
I did get a question.
So
okay. Bead Biz asked, what's the one colorway you've always wanted to get to do but haven't thus far?
Oh, there are no colorways I don't get to do. Anytime, so every time I discover something new, or I try something and I like it, usually I turn it into a color collection. So all of our color collections have had a theme that is dragons or cocktail hour or pirates, but they also have a dye theme. And so for cocktails, we did all our solids, but then all of the mixed colorways were what we call tipped. So where we have those 3-way colorways, tipped means that we dip dye most of it, but just leave a little bit at the end, and that becomes a different color. And when you knit those up, they knit, and you just get dashes of those colors. I don't know where I put. Hang on.
I don't think there's a good way to care. I'm going to try and show this.
I think it's over there.
We should start wrapping up too.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so this it got kind of postponed because all the shows got postponed, and we usually do these.
I don't know.
A big display of these at the shows, but this year's and possibly now next year's color collection was space.
Thanks, coronavirus.
And the space colorways, so that's the overarching theme, but the dye theme for that is all over dyes, because when you look at
Becca is the queen of over dyes. She is drag house over dye.
when I do mini sets, the colors that we start with are great, but it is the colors in the middle that fascinate me. And
the median, like those median tones.
Yeah. Well, and the over dye, the way that those two colors combining with each other.
Yeah.
what you get when you go in one direction, like if you start, if we're talking about this one and I start with the blue and I over dye across with the green, it is going to look very different than if I start with the green and I over dye across with the blue.
Exactly. Because, because dye's like watercolor. It's not like paint, right? So it's like and as with watercolor, sometimes it's unexpected, like which direction the layer went of what happens.
Well, and it's more than that. It's also interacting with the fiber, and the ply on the fiber makes a difference so much. And right now I am obsessed with over dyes. And so you'll see I've added a bunch of new ones as we've done them. So Tourmaline LaRue is a new over dye.
Do you all know who Tourmaline LaRue is? You guys know what the reference is?
Jess is waving at us.
Oh, Jess, I think we're almost done.
Almost done, but we also had a request for you to show off a few more mini sets if you have more colors around.
What do we got?
Well,
we've got
so pretty. Look at this.
This is Yuri Katsuki.
Yuri Katsuki. I'm using the Yaksha version of this on my Mormont. It is such a great colorway. I'll put it over here so you can see it too.
And this is To Infinity and Beyond.
I mean, right? Obviously. Right?
We already saw that.
Buzz. What else have we got for minis? So, I got some over here. I think some of these you've seen. Oh, have you? This is the one that's in the Mormont. This is the I like this colorway a lot. Yeah. This is the Resolute Lady of Bear Island. And hey, Allison, if you were actually talking about fall colors, I think this would be my favorite fall-ish colorway because it's not like orange or all orange. I'll put this out where you can see it because I super like this one.
This is Bearded Iris. It's one of our oldest colorways. One of our first color collections was flowers.
Yep.
And many of those colors have stuck. Bearded Iris Tulip came from that, lots of them. So Bearded Iris is a mini set that's been around for forever. Oceanus is a single color gradient mini set. So it's just that one pot of dye dyed all the way across those 7 skeins.
Yeah.
This is a mini set in
wait.
Acer.
I don't know what I'm doing. Woo!
In Acer, but we also do it in the Iacus minis, and
this is so luscious, everybody. Oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous.
That's Cupid in the Underworld, and this is Mermaid's Tail, which is another one that we've done for a long time, and it's another one where the colors really fade together beautifully, and it has a very smooth gradient.
And look at the punch of those colors. Did she say what, 3 minutes?
3 minutes, something like that.
All right. Oh, the Yak minis. These are my favorite. My favorite.
You can have
all mine, precious. They got it for my birthdays. Yes, precious. It's mine, precious.
So I'm gonna hold them up. This is Pixie Dust. Oh, well
look
done.
At that. I caught it. I caught it. My lightning freaking
Pixie
reflexes.
Dust. This is Boats for Women Everywhere. Pandora.
Wait. Slow down. That's Pandora. And what was this one?
Fantasia.
This is Fantasia.
That's Yuri.
And that's Yuri. So beautiful.
So
Yak minis. Yak. Oh, we just started doing Yak minis recently. Well, like how we say I'm not dyeing anything these days. But look at those beautiful colorways, you all. They're so gorgeous. They're so gorgeous.
You said you had a lot of free time this summer?
I do not know. I don't think so. Listen.
I have a dye studio.
A dye studio. All right, wrap it up.
Can we do this for another hour? Because we love talking to you guys.
This is great.
There's so much to show.
I have grading to do. I don't want to do that.
I don't know. It sounds like a lot of you guys know already. You guys, lots of you guys seem like you know us, but we do everything from lace to bulky. We just launched a new bulky weight. Bulky. It is not on the website yet. We were hoping to get it up this weekend, but not happening. So
it's not like we're busy or anything.
Just be aware that that's coming too, and lots of specialty yarns, lots of silks, lots of fun stuff. But always our kind of staple yarns are those superwash merinos because they're so wonderful.
Yep. Yeah. And listen, thank you everybody so much for joining us here today. This has been so much fun. I have a fabulous lap full of yarn. I'm just going to kind of like curl up and go to sleep here.
I like how I started with the lap.
I know.
Anyway, it was nice to get get to be the last to kind of close out the show today.
Yes, and thank you for coming to Virtu-Wool too.
Yeah.
How exciting! What a great event. So we're really happy to be here, and yeah. So I hope you all have a great evening. And I guess you're coming back tomorrow, right? There's more stuff tomorrow.
I think there's more
yeah.
stuff
So
tomorrow.
come tomorrow for all this the content tomorrow, and you can visit our landing page anytime during the weekend. Look down there. There's some cool stuff. So
yeah,
just let us know.
And we're also at the Maryland Sheep and Wool this weekend. They're doing a kind not this.
All right. Bye, everybody. Take care.